It is big burger time. Are you ready for the biggest of burgers?
I can't wait.
You sound so excited.
Well, it's not just a big burger, it's a big bang burger.
Yes, both literally and probably figuratively when you're in the bathroom. But this is basically the only way that you can really grind up guts, at least at this point in the game. There is stuff like reading novels or whatever, but I don't know, it seems kind of ridiculous that you got to go in here day after day and eat a gigantic burg to get the confidence to talk to like the gun shop owner guy. Or well, there's actually quite a few of the social links that I have yet to even start, because you need to have a requisite number of guts to even get to it.
I think this is the part where you eat 15 pancakes, and that's how you get your guts up to ask your wife for a divorce.
You... what?
Oh, it's a reference.
So anyway, I was able to eat the burger this time, and that's why I kind of wanted to show this whole thing. You get like a special item for doing it, and then you get to move up to the next burger? Is this the thing that people do in restaurants?
Yeah, I mean, you that's how you get your name on the wall. Like,
right. But do they have like different levels of giant burgers?
Absolutely, that's how they keep you coming back.
I see. There's so much about the fast food experience that I still have yet to understand.
I mean, for the biggest one is of course the 72-ounce steak. That's the big kahuna.
Put between two buns.
But you know, if you even eat like 6 ounces, you can get your name on the wall.
Wow, that's actually pretty. I mean, I guess you are paying them like $70 for that.
Yeah,
least they can do.
It's literally more of a symbolic thing at that point. It's like that's aspirational, you know. Like, oh, you ate here and you.
And you get rewarded for it. You win things by eating.
The next level is 24 ounces, so they're not fucking around. It's just, you know, now they've got you. Now you got it. Oh, I ate 6 ounces. Oh, that's not very impressive. Gotta go back.
By the way, speaking of impressive, it is bizarre that eating the gigantic burger did give me a level up in not only like intelligence and skill, but also charm. You know, charm.
That famous thing we associate with burger eating, yes.
Famous thing that we associate with any sort of eating contest.
I would say I would sleep with anyone who's ever done an eating contest. If you're out there, we can put a link to my my Twitter and my YouTube account. You can reach out to me.
Your Tinder.
I admit this might be a fetish. This might not be like a standard.
What?
But I don't know. I find it charming.
I thought that you were just that you were just so impressed by the sort of food packing away there that you were going to make the sort of bold proclamation. Like, it spoke more to their character, not to like any sort of specific predilections that you might have.
No, it's just really hot to me. I don't know. I mean, I don't care about their characters. They can be horrible.
So here's things that you are probably going to regret saying later. Anyway. Talking to Mishima again. Apparently Mishima is one of the characters that I didn't... Much like Torinosuke, also ghost NPCs. Also Torinosuke, who doesn't actually require you to like answer questions correctly or anything. Yes. You just automatically get a rank up whenever you talk to them. Torinosuke, I think it kind of makes sense, but because you can only talk to him at like very specific days. But like... It's kind of surprising that you don't need to do like the whole hangout, song, and dance with Mishima. I guess he's very dedicated with you. Wait, what?
Are they still doing this Maid watch thing?
Oh, that is exactly what I'm doing. I mean, I was actually seriously considering upping his social link a little bit more, but then I decided, you know what, we're here. Let's do the Maid watch, whatever. After all, aren't you interested in where this is going?
I am, and I find it funny, like, oh yeah, hey, let's stop at my place so I can go change. Like,
yeah, you know, get into something a little bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, you can watch if you want.
He says we can just bail. How are you gonna bail? Look at this room that you're in. Well, at least he did say we'll be fine, further reinforcing Ryuji as the best character in the game.
I mean, I just feel like if there's any kind of crime or malfeasance that happens in a room of this size, everyone's automatically an accessory, no matter how old or young or infirm they are. Like, they could be the victim and they would still be an accessory because that room is just so small.
I mean, it is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but does the perspective seem like it is extremely small? Like, even more so than usual?
It feels like they used the camera trick, like this looks like the Wonka tunnel.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like they have it slightly angled down so to present the main character as being, you know, the most important person in the room because he's highest up on the screen. Huh?
Like if Ryuji,
your eyes are look directly at him.
I mean, if Ryuji goes over like to the main character, he's gonna look like he's 7 feet tall.
Well, I mean, this is a video game. It's not like it would be that difficult to do. Well, anyway, so apparently this is in fact a actual legitimate phone call that is being made. I honestly expected that. Well, I suppose the plan is going off without a hitch. Exactly, Ryuji. That's you pretty much just said what I was fumbling around to say.
Wasn't this a scene from Catcher in the Rye?
Well, J.D. Salinger might have a little bit more talent than the Persona writers, but you know, we'll see how it goes.
He was brought on as a consultant, a highly paid consultant. He wouldn't even leave his house. It was all done remotely. Didn't even want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, that's why Ryuji's going to the bathroom. So that he can leave messages in there. I never read that book. I only vaguely know about that scene.
Oh.
Do you like how ridiculously accurate that translation was? Like you could even see the whatever, anyway. Absolutely not, Mishima. Like you all saw this. Y'all should have seen this coming. Like, what are you kids, stupid?
Well, they are high school kids. This is really, I mean.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm giving them kind of a pass on it. But it's like still. Well, I mean, I'm also giving them a pass given the entirety of the game up until this point.
Does Ryuji think they're legitimately trying to get like a maid? Is that what?
No, he's not that stupid.
Okay. Because his previous comment is like, what would age have to do with housekeeping?
I don't know what he thought was going to happen, but
he didn't.
It was clearly
and that's
very
the whole problem.
It's yeah.
I take this back. This is like, I don't even want to fight these villains. I just want these fuckers to go on like normal high school hijinks.
Yeah, Daddy. Well, hey, welcome to the club. I've said that maybe since like the second episode.
This is very entertaining.
This is so stupid. And then, of course, Mishima also, same thing. I mean, even before. So, yeah,
They
like,
fled to the
actually do send over... Also, she speaks with a heart after every single thing she says. And also this line. And just everything about the scene. So... The second that I saw this, I knew exactly what was going to be happening because there were some screenshots of, say, the later parts of the social link floating around the internet for quite a while. But it's like, I don't know.
Well, the good news is because you've been on the internet, this must have been one of the easiest scenes to translate.
Yeah, of course.
God,
no.
This just...
I'm gonna fill your tired heart with energy, meow? I mean, yeah, that is what it says, but it's like... Do you look at that sort of line and you're like, yes, this is the meaning that I want. This is the meaning I think it says. Or do you look at it and you're like, I think I am having some sort of brain problem.
Yeah, I'm a dad. For Father's
No, we're
Day.
not going with that. Look, I want him to be forthright. He was the only one who was who was brave enough to stick around or personality-less enough, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, seriously, this is like legitimately exactly what you think it is.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. In the past, Persona has kind of proven itself as a pretty sleazy game, but at least this is kind of like fun sleazy rather than distressing sleazy.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'll
like,
give them that.
This is more like comic hijinks in a really authentic way. Like most movies, it's just terrible. Like you take like movies or games, it's like, oh yeah, they're doing this hijinks, and it's like that is a crime what you're doing, and it's like, no,
Yes.
this is just they're just fucking stupid.
Well, they are, first off. We have established that. But it's like, gasp. It's actually your teacher, Mrs. Kawakami, who, like, sure. I'm very, very interested in how the storyline is going to be going.
Yeah.
Because, like, here's the thing. You got Kawakami. She's out here, and she is, like, legitimately doing sex work. But what I'm wondering is, how far are we really going to get into that? How much can she really, like, talk about the trials and tribulations of doing this as a part-time job with a guy who's, like, 16 years old?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like here... Especially because it's like... This is not even like a, no, I was forced into this job or whatever. It's like, she's down with it, but... I don't know. I'm just kind of curious as to how this is eventually going to shake out, which is why I would love to continue doing the storyline. But hey, you remember how I ate that big burger? Well, I'm going to have to eat a whole lot more big burgers to even start up this thing again, which does make a lot of sense. I mean, you think about it, and it's like, hey, this is probably maybe one of the most awkward sort of hangout sessions to start up compared to any one of the other social links I've done so far.
Well, what it is it's more like the burger like numbs your pain. It's like, you know, it's got like some talcum powder in there. It makes the inside of your mouth kind of like, and
It's really got like Tums, talcum powder, a whole bunch of codeine.
Yeah. I mean, they don't call it the Big Bang Burger for nothing. It's not just the digestive stuff. It's just, it's basically heroin.
Bergs to dull the pain. No main character. I'm not choosing anything. And then she immediately starts, turnabout being fair play. I'm also getting blackmailed. Yeah, they kind of planned it out a little bit, but only a little bit. So yeah, this is, like I said, it's still sleazy, but maybe it's at least going to be sleazy in a fun way.
So you won't have to pay anything. That's so funny. So this is different from Catcher in the Rye. I think that guy refused to pay, and then the sex worker called her boss, and he kicked the main character's ass. I think that was how that went.
Like I said, I didn't actually read the book, so I don't know. Despite the fact that it's such like a classic type of high school book. At that time, I think I was reading like The Wizard of Oz and what?
Well, at that time, they made baseballs out of rye, and this guy was on the baseball team, the softball team, and he was kind of he was originally the right fielder, but then he kind of broke his leg, and he couldn't run down the fly balls anymore, so they put him at catcher, which is still physically demanding, but he was able to do it. Just the way that he broke his...
Wait a second, that's a very similar story to Ryuji in this game. Are we finding another reference to classic literature?
Oh my god. There's so many different connections.
So many connections. The Rye Catcher in that book was the original Phantom Thief. I guess the original Phantom Thief was Lupin, which was 400 years earlier, but you know what I'm saying.
So maybe it's all Catcher in the Rye references. I mean, the first thing absolutely did not happen in Catcher in the Rye. The first thing with the baseball, that was just a stupid joke. So So we're finding all sorts of connections today.
Well, anyway, Chono is apparently snooping around school looking for other various I don't know, the controversies that could possibly come up. Which, okay, why not? Anyway, like I said, I did want to continue on with the storyline as much as I possibly could because it's like, I don't know. I think all the other storylines have been written pretty well so far, but
oh, it's pretty much everything except the main story.
God, it's just, oh man, everything about the main story. I mean, hey, we can even like go on with that more if you want to, but you know.
I mean, yeah, sure.
So one of the things I was thinking about last time is just like, it's kind of surprising that they haven't really tried to follow up like the whole idea of you playing as criminals or anything like that. You would think that with the whole like, do you desire freedom and that as like a big theme, at least leading up to the game, that it would have been more about playing as actual criminals. Because that's one of those things that I think could easily be explored in like a storyline. Thinking about the idea of people who have been incarcerated and are trying to rehabilitate themselves, whether it's like they're literally still incarcerated or post getting out of jail, and how there's still a lot of prejudice against people like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which is really what I thought was going to be happening. But instead, like, you know, the more we get through the game, the more I'm realizing that it's like, everybody here has either been like perfectly justified in what they've done, or they're wrongfully accused, and the people who are accused are like seen basically as subhuman scum.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been like a sort of disappointing thing with the game so far, where it's like the idea that you could explore like the prejudices and like issues of people who have gone through actual like I said, incarceration or like accusations or anything like that, and like how they're able to recover from that. But instead, this really does do the same thing where you know it takes a very, very harsh look at anybody who commits crimes, basically.
Yeah, and really, I mean, you know, in Japan, there's like a huge, I mean, it's a scandal where if you're accused of a crime, you're basically convicted 99% of the time, if not more. I mean, for cases that go to trial, and there's very much a culture of like, you know, the assumption of guilt. I mean, and I'm not, you know, we're not.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, especially here though, because it's like so far they really have not done anything to try to make the villain sympathetic in any way, and even like the way that they have their hearts changed. It's like they just go to jail and we never see them again. And of course, they don't have like any family or friends or anything. And even the people that did like originally trust them immediately turned on like Kamoshida, for example, except for maybe the principal, who doesn't really turn on him so much as he just kind of pretends that he doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of, yeah.
So yeah, that's just, well, more issues I got with the main story. What can I say? So anyway, after that, it's like, yeah, basically you got to call Kawakami on a public phone, but you do need some pretty high guts to make that happen. At least Chono's out of the picture, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe that'll come up again. It sure was pretty easy to convince her, nonetheless. Well, anyway, in the meantime, talking with Ryuji, gonna be hanging out with him, but but this is actually one of the points where I don't get a rank up. Instead, you're supposed to be taking them to one of the alternate locations to up their rank. And so I just chose the one he showed me. Yeah, all right. Okay. That was easy. I mean, I'll say this. They do have a much better system for doing a lot of the social links thus far with
the Royal?
Yeah, well, not even in the Royal. I think this was in the original game, too, where Ryuji's very concerned about looking like he's somebody jumping on a bandwagon.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a phony. Another Catch of the Rye reference.
But yeah, like the big thing with like some of the previous social links was it was literally you just like went up and talked to them and you're like, hey, you didn't rank up, but you got closer. And you talk to them next time and you might actually rank up. Here you have some more alternate things that continue to give you more plot line and stuff like that, which I like. I like
It was
that sort
definitely
of deal.
lacking in umami.
Wait, what?
I mean, the soup was lacking in the ramen was lacking in umami.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't know. Not enough salt. Let's be honest here, I've never had anything except for the cheapest of ramens.
Mm.
The only thing that can sate my hunger.
Only the finest of ramens for me. I spend $2.
You know, those are pretty good. It's like the way I like to prepare them is with as little water as possible. So then it's like instead of turning into a soup, it's just kind of like you cook the noodles basically.
Yeah.
And then you stir an egg in at the end, sort of like a carbonara type of deal.
Oh, that actually sounds really good.
It's quite good. It's a good way to get like extra flavor rather than just going for your traditional soup style. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but soup is kind of, you know, insubstantial.
Well, you need a lot of salt to make a good soup and I don't want to have too much salt because it's just there's lower density of. I mean, you have to have a lot of water, you know, and per volume, you need to have more salt to make it work than you would for like if it's just a stew or something.
Those are some pretty detailed character models. Did you see that guy's pants?
Oh yeah.
No, not that guy's pants, the previous one.
Oh, okay. No,
He had like a floral print pair of pants on him. I don't know. Well, whatever. Anyway. The fun thing about Tornosuke is that he does this entire shtick every single time you talk to him. So eventually it does get to the point where I'm like, let's just skip that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's classic NPC stuff. I mean, just like, you know, they always have something that they're thinking about.
Yeah, but usually it's not like an entire stump speech.
It should be.
Usually. Sometimes. Because public speaking is important.
I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to want to give speeches. What is he talking about? You're a politician. What do you...
Yeah, well, I mean, look, here's the thing. Like I said, it doesn't actually matter what you choose because you immediately rank up with him regardless. But it's just like... I don't know. I feel like the one where I'm just like, I just want to learn your speeches seems a little bit disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does not matter at all. I do like that he does literally carry his own soapbox around with him. There's something about that sort of old school nature, like how he's wearing the sash and like white gloves and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
Very
like
classically.
He looks like a politician from like the 1900s or something. Like,
Yeah. Like he's running for mayor of like Boston.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say Irish Catholic.
Also, something about this scene where these guys immediately turn on him instead. It's like, hey, shut up, old man.
Listen, old man, we're tired of your old face and your tired ideas.
Bushy eyebrows and prominent widow's peak. It's just like, it's like, he just exists to have people come up and yell at him.
Did he like really fuck up as a politician?
I think he actually goes into it in this scene. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
So yeah, talking a little bit about like actual, you know, criminal people. Hey, at least we got Tornosuke and kind of Ryuji. I mean, Ryuji did that thing where he punched Kamoshida, and it's like, yeah, he shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, we're talking about Kamoshida.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the main character especially was just... It's like there was this drunken man accosting a woman. Well, it was Shido accosting a woman while he was drunk, and he pushed him down. It's just like, that still sticks in my craw in the way that it's like, it's handled with such kid gloves, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I was just gonna say, like, before when we were talking about, like, oh yeah, the change of heart was really just like, oh, and then everybody pretends like they don't know them, or they, immediately turn on them. And the other thing is they only have the change of heart because they lost. You know what I mean? It's just like there's no moral substance to that. They lost a fight with the stronger person.
At the same time, one of the things they do is they try to put in each one of those scenes that, like, the character does seem to be repentant right before, but it is only after they lose a fight.
Yeah. I mean,
the justification is kind of flimsy. Yeah, but it's like, hey, if we're going to try to talk about, like, the actual morality of what the Phantom Thieves do, it's like, I flip-flop on that so much because it's like, psychic brain surgery versus the fact that only evil people can even be targeted in the first place versus, like, they are still real people versus they're one-dimensional villains. They're, like, paper-thin in their motivations and what they do. You know, just, like, back and forth. It's really hard to get a hold on, and the way that, like, the Phantom Thieves are doing it to get back at society, but also to become popular, and but like the way the metaverse works, it makes sure that you're always doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And all they do is steal the treasure, and then whatever the magic of the metaverse that makes it work takes care of the rest. You can see exactly what I'm saying here, right?
I can see. Yeah. No, I mean, it's sort of like it's an Adam Curtis film that ends halfway through. That's a little bit of a reference. But
the thing is, it's like I don't think that the writers meant it to be like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things.
I don't think they expected you to think this much about just like, you know what, just steal the treasure and you're fine. Don't think about it anymore.
It's like they only do the first half of the monomyth, and then they just immediately, like, transport you back without any changes.
Yeah, like, but it's cool. The metaverse took care of everything else.
Yeah.
The way that stealing hearts works is a completely foolproof system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like, it does seem immoral what you're doing, but it really is only affecting the truly evil people of the world. And
the story, instead of trying to make the system more interesting, just doubles down on how evil they are and how necessary it is to do that. And how
you got it.
Yeah, no, I got it. I mean,
it's like, hey, we talked about this for 36 parts now, so I mean, you know. And I suppose it's like you haven't been here for every single one, but this is all stuff that I've talked about a bunch in previous episodes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and just make the villain sympathetic. It's a surprisingly good thing because that means you're not just saying, oh, there's this evil people over here who aren't part of us, and then there's this hero who's all part of us.
It's like I want the heroes to be less sympathetic, and I want the villains to be more sympathetic.
Yeah. And it's not because because nuance is some automatic, you know, good key to good writing, but it's because, you know, by making the villain sympathetic, you force us to confront what is villainous about them instead of just making them an amalgamation.
Especially because the thing that you're doing is so severe.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things you're torturing them. And not consensually, like you're changing.
And the thing is, you remember that Anne, that was the main reason why she wanted to go after Kamoshida. Not because she cared anything about the man and, like, you know, making him a better person, but because she wanted him to be tortured by guilt. Which is one of the reasons why I always am kind of like, I don't know about Anne.
Right now, the Joker is conflicted because
I like that you called him the Joker, like a 90-year-old man.
Well, because here's what the Joker is saying, basically. Like, he can't answer her because it wasn't an adult who coached him. It was a cat. But the cat thinks it's an adult and would be offended if he knew that the Joker had called him a cat, an adult.
Well, we're talking about Torinosuke, but I mean, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, all in all, Torinosuke insulted one of his constituents, embezzled funds, and then didn't show up for a ton of like diet cabinet meetings and stuff like that. So basically, he got disgraced from politics and has spent 20 years trying to make some sort of return to it.
I don't know. I think these are all, I mean, and nobody apparently has forgotten about it because you just have like passersby saying.
Yeah, like that guy that was insulting him before didn't even seem like he was 20 years old. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like politics are just harsher. That's not true at all. Politics are the same everywhere.
Well, insulting a voter, that is a very serious offense.
Yeah, I know.
You're in
Look, the
2020.
embezzling is the only one that's really like, yeah, okay. And even then, it's like,
It was more that you got caught. It was you did it so brazenly that you got caught.
Well, anyway, we'll see a little bit more in his storyline if he ends up actually like making headway. But needless to say, it's like there is also that sort of idea that it's like even though we don't think that the stuff that the main characters or any of the other people that we associate with did much of anything wrong, everybody else is 100% on board with blaming them for it. So it's an uphill battle either way. In the meantime, I do think that this is one of the new royal things. Yeah, this is definitely one of the new royal things because it's hugely focused on Yoshizawa, the new character.
They're really selling this new character hard, like right now.
Well, the thing is they sell every character hard. You remember Yusuke?
Oh, I remember every character they're doing this for.
You remember Anne? I suppose they didn't do it for Morgana because Morgana literally does not exist in the real world except as a cat.
They really
or
just
whatever his actual identity is has not been revealed yet. It's the main character.
Oh.
Remember the thing I said last time?
Oh.
Even though you shot that down and was just like, well, we don't have to just make up stuff.
Well, we don't just have to make that. What are you talking about?
Hey, we're playing poker. Here's my hand, guys. Call your decisions based on... Well, anyway, I do have enough guts now, especially with eating that last large berg, to finally talk to Takemi. Her, the gun shop owner, and Kawakami all require just big guts. Rip and tear those huge guts. So that's why most of the time I spend is 100% focused on trying to get that stat up as much as possible.
Makes sense.
Takemi, I think, also has the added benefit of giving you better items. So, yeah, you know, for like healing items and whatever that you can buy for the dungeons. So it's totally worth it.
What kind of drug is this?
Purple drink.
Oh,
It tastes like purple.
It'll put you both sour and bitter.
You are a bad doctor, Takemi. I do want to make that clear. Like, this is...
I'm mixing some special components.
incredibly
cough syrup,
unethical.
Grape soda.
I don't get it. That was just NyQuil. How did you almost die?
Well, I think the reason. So this is a situation you need to have like, you need to have like a lot of guts to get into this.
Yeah, because it's like you are taking untested medication.
Oh, well, that makes sense because cough syrup is known to give people diarrhea. So.
Oh, you're telling me.
Yes.
Should just end the episode here. Well, anyway, yeah. So it's like, despite the fact that she is doing some pretty shady stuff, maybe most of all is hiding her gigantic bulbous head under that haircut. It's like she is apparently being hounded after by one specific person. Oh, good lord! Did I just have that NyQuil right now?
Suspicion of improper billing? What? I'm sorry. This must be I don't recognize this at all. This is maybe.
I don't know.
Basically,
one person is trying to get her in trouble in one way or another.
Okay. In the U.S.,
now
that just
you
doesn't
are
happen.
illegally testing medications on humans, so.
And she tricked you into taking other stuff. It sounds like.
No, she didn't trick me. I totally agreed to do that.
Well,
but that's because the main character is kind of stupid.
Well,
this is entirely inappropriate, Mr. Police Guy. We're on a date. I mean, now, come on. Can't just bust this place down. But yeah.
Yeah, he's here to change his heart.
Takemi, you're not helping. Horse tranquilizers. That'll do you up just right.
He's stressed out about taking his entrance exams. He needs a little help, you know?
That's a good name. I don't know why you wouldn't want that one.
Doctor name, like...
So, of course, I was going to choose that, because that's a cool name. How'd you get that cool name?
Yeah.
Ah, come on.
Well,
I suppose we're going to have to figure out that one a little bit more later. Former superior. Haven't actually... Maybe that was the guy that appeared for the first rank up I got with her social link. Yeah. I guess that was him. But he was just talking about, like, oh, you can't create super drugs. You can't create Captain America serums. That goes against all nature. And it's just like, oh, come on. I wasn't buying that at all. It's like, clearly the sort of things that you would complain about with Takemi, like, actually do. There are real things you can talk about.
She seems super unethical.
Extremely unethical.
Like the most unethical doctor.
Like, one of the original things one of the choices that you had during the original social link was just outright saying, you're a bad doctor. And I want to just keep continuously getting that for every choice. Are you, though? It's like, what can you possibly tell from the main character's blood after he just drank that an hour ago? And of course, it also ups your guts, but you need more, I think, to even continue on with the social link in the first place. And then, as always, you get the little extra bits. Sometimes they're okay, but a lot of the times I feel like these sections are just kind of padding, you know? We gotta throw in some extra content, and this is a pretty easy one to make. Think I have superpowers, as you do. Alright, so we still got a couple more days before Madarame does have the change of heart. But in the meantime, there's certainly plenty more left to do. So many stats to get up, so many books to read. And unfortunately, so many Kawakamis to not be able to contact, as you'll see right here. This would be the perfect time to do it too, but unfortunately, I think I lost the second guy. Yep, he's gone. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, big guts.